Southern Farms also got the flame. Michigan Bros grows folks. Just wanna grow something to smoke. Michigan Bros Grow Show. Michigan Bros Grow Show. Michigan Bros Grow Show. Michigan Bros Grow Show.
Welcome to the Bro Show Live, everybody. What is going on? It is Sunday.
Sunday.
Be there or be square.
All right, man.
Happy
I'm here. You're
Sunday.
here. We're here
Grave
together.
digger.
That's right.
Grave digger.
And
You're with the forward, man.
you don't have to fake the voice skill, but you've already got it.
I already have it, but I have to go even lower octave for it, man. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm glad you could join us this evening. I would be remiss if I didn't mention in the very beginning, please switch over to live chat from Top Chat and give the show a thumbs up. What's going on, panel?
What's
Cheers.
up, guys? We appreciate you being here. Listen to Red and join live chat.
Cheers, everybody.
Painted Lady and I just returned from an awesome vacation trip up in the Old Mission Peninsula area of Traverse City. We wanted to share some details about that trip. So now is as good time of it as any because we had a great time and we got to experience a bunch of different wineries, and that's not my normal thing. So I got to find a couple wines that I liked and try some cider and stuff too. And we got some awesome food.
Wait, red or white, dry or sweet? Come on, you fill us in on the details.
All right, so I don't like the tannins in the wines, so I'm more of a white wine style, at least as a starter, because I'm kind of a,
Yep, the classic newbie, pretty
Yeah.
much. Everybody kind of starts in the sweet zone and then progresses. And like when I started drinking wine, I hated the red wines, like the really deep red wines. I did not like them at all, and that's kind of what he's feeling. So he doesn't really care for those either. So
Did you like
Yeah.
the fruity Moscato type, like the bubbly ones?
not always
No.
bubbly.
Really?
I tried some of the regular white wines this time. Normally, so I like champagne and I like bubbly stuff. I do like Prosecco and stuff too.
not the sweet stuff though. He likes brut.
I do like drier
Oh, okay.
champagne. So
That mimosa champagne.
yeah,
Champagne.
exactly. So now I'm trying the wine a little bit more, and it was fun. It was a good time. Trying all the stuff that she got as well, which was really, really good. You have a better memory than I if you want to go down where we went and stuff, but
I mean, for those of you guys that have been up there, we pretty much just started at the beginning, which is Two Lads, which is at the very north winery up there, and it's just kind of like a just small little peninsula. It doesn't take long to get up there. And so we just headed up there. We stopped at this little deli called Bad Dog Deli for lunch, and it was delicious. I had a little sandwich there, and then
They side-eyed us a little bit because we smelled like reefers.
yeah, I felt a little bad because there was a husband and wife in there with their baby, and I was like, we were the only other ones in there, and we had just smoked a big fatty in the truck. But anyway, a great sandwich.
It was a great
It was
sandwich.
a great sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean, before you guys even get to that first winery, I was going to call it a dispensary for some reason, but the first winery, that drive is pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know. I guess
Yes,
maybe
it is.
it probably doesn't depend on the time of the year, but I'm sure maybe there's some times that are better than others or whatever. But I've only done it once, and I mean, it just feels like you're rolling through a peninsula full of castles, man.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like feels like you're like an old Europe or something. It's a
Right.
pretty cool drive.
So it's cooler in one way, I think. Right now in the winter, all the leaves are down, so you can see the houses that are back off the road.
Yeah.
But I bet during the fall and stuff, it would look really cool, with the leaf change and all that stuff. But the whole area is just incredible. That was my first time up there, so it was cool to see all the houses and all of the. Painted Lady drove the whole time, so I could oogle everything, and that was really nice. So we had a great time.
So you were on rolling duty.
I did. I rolled before we left. So, but yeah, a lot of times that's the case.
But yeah, I don't know. So we started up at Two Lads, which is the very northern winery up there. And then we just kind of worked our way down. And there was a few that I just kind of skipped over and I didn't think we needed to go to. So we started at Two Lads and had some, what did you have? Oh, you had a mimosa there. He had a mimosa there. And then we went down to Chateau Chantal, I think, and Grand Traverse, and then over to
Was the B one, right?
Bowers Harbor, I think, is where we went next. And that's the one where I really like that one. It's just kind of outdoor. They don't really have a great view of the lake or anything like Two Lads and the rest of those do that are way up there in the north. But it's just a really cool one. It's all dog oriented. Like everything that they used to do was all about their dog Cooper, this big Bernese Mountain Dog. And so they started naming the wines after their dogs and everything. So they have all these little fuzzy stuffed animals that you can buy, like wine corks and all that kind of stuff in there. That's cool. But the land itself is just beautiful. It's just, grapes everywhere from as far as the eye can see. And it's just beautiful, just hills, rolling hills, and hardly any populated areas at all. It's just all grapes. It's really cool. Outside of the big, huge houses that are there on the lake, it's big old money, but that's for sure. And not much diversity up there, I will say. It's pretty
white and stuffy.
It's pretty
up there.
white. It's pretty white people shit. But
wine tasting is definitely a white girl thing if we're really gonna narrow it down.
Yeah,
but
it was good.
But I'm all for it. That's fun.
yeah. So then after Bowers Harbor, we worked our way down to Hawthorne and then to Black Star. We didn't do tastings at every single one. We only just I took them to the ones that I thought were really cool, and I really liked their view. Or you can go outdoors and have a glass and sit by an outdoor fireplace, and they all had this fireplaces stoked, even in the winter time, so you could go out there and hang out, and it was cool.
These
So.
giant stone patios. I just feel like you're like sitting in Game of Thrones. I think I went to the Chateau Chantal and maybe the other one after that.
Yeah.
I just remember anything with Chateau in the name. I'm like, all right, this sounds fancy. Let's go there.
Yeah. Anything that's written in cursive, you got to try.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool. And so we got a couple
you guys
bottles.
went to a cigar lounge. I'm anxious to hear about Stella's, but keep going.
Yeah, we forgot about our Friday night. We went to a speakeasy and.
Yeah, I'm a big cigar guy, so we went to a cigar place and to blend in with the wine stuff. And Painted Lady likes to dip her toe in the water, so to speak, and she tries a cigar usually when we go to one. So.
I'm terrible at it. I'm so bad at it. The first time I had one, I totally inhaled that shit, man. One time I was like, oh. Yeah. So it's hard for me to remember, like, not to inhale, but I don't know. I'm learning. So
we had fun. We went to a cocktail place, a speakeasy cocktail place, like really high level cocktails. They were smoking the drinks and lighting the oranges on
Nice.
fire and stuff. And that
Nice
was really
Bravo
fun.
level. I like it.
Yeah.
Was it the kind of speakeasy that you had to like knock 2 times, wait 3 seconds, then knock 4 times, then wait 2 seconds, then knock once? Is that kind of
no,
speakeasy?
but
No,
there
all right.
is a place like that we were considering going to, and
After
then
hours joint.
we just had so much fun at this one. And oh my god, I had the most delicious espresso martini. I died. It was so good, and so I was like, I might have another.
I made those for
Give me a
Thanksgiving. It was a big hit.
Yeah. So anyway, so after that, we went to the cigar bar, and that was really cool. It was pretty interesting place, and you could have a cocktail or a beer or a pop and sit there and watch
Is that where all the
game.
husbands hang out when all the ladies are up there? You know,
It is,
Yeah.
but I was interested. I commented that almost all the guys that were in there were with their ladies.
It was
almost all
about
couples.
half women.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, wow.
surprised too. So, and some women that were just there, like, it was awesome. There were these 2 chicks. One had a Mac Tools jacket on. The other one had a Snap-on jacket on.
They were sitting right next to each other, and I was like, how did that work?
Oh, you know how it works.
But anyway, so yeah, and then the next night after the wineries, we did go to Stella, like you were saying, for Groli, and that's the most delicious Italian restaurant in the state, probably. And it's just so cool because it's in an old insane asylum. So it's just all brick and hallways and really cool artwork.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, they won a
Low
bunch of
lighting.
awards. They had notable things on the menu we saw was like what, foie gras, right? Or the duck liver stuff.
Yeah,
And,
you know, maybe not so
goose.
ethically raised duck, but apparently very delicious.
They-
I've had it once, and I
said
was
it
not a
was.
fan.
They said it was.
How do you ethically raise fucking?
I don't know, but they said it was. And then they had veal brain on the menu. They had
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. And so good tip for a restaurant is if you find a place that has a menu that changes every day, where they're using really local ingredients and stuff, it's usually going to be pretty good. So our menus were printed. They had the date on there right on the top.
Yep.
We had looked up the menu of the place before we went, and all the prices and even menu items were different than what we had looked up ahead of time. So that they changed the menu every single day, which was cool.
I like that they had all of the sources at the top. Like
Yeah.
they got their hog from Joe's farm or whatever, and
Yeah.
you know the herbs were from all different places. I thought it was really cool. All
Was it
local.
mostly Michigan sources, or was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was all locally
Okay.
sourced.
Nice.
So it
Well,
was
that's
really
Traverse City,
cool.
probably.
But
They had like
Um,
wild elk bolognese. They had wild boar stuff. They had all sorts of
ravioli, I think it
Yeah.
was. But
Holy
yeah,
smokes.
it was delicious.
Well, I mean, that's what I think of when I think of ravioli. The first thing that comes to mind is, you know what
Wild
this
boar.
needs? More wild boar in it, man.
Yeah, dude.
Some really tough pork.
Everything was like, so it was like spaghetti, you know, but made from elk, you know, so it's like high level spaghetti.
Well, the
You
chef
know.
is like a
High
5-time
level spaghetti.
James Beard nominee, I guess. So
Yeah.
he knows his shit. So
Everything was awesome.
Nice.
and
Very nice.
then the next morning, we decided, since we had such a wonderful opportunity, we were staying at this little inn in the Grand Traverse Bay, the East Bay, and we had the most beautiful view of the water. And we happened to notice as we were standing outside blowing a J that wouldn't it be the most fantastic opportunity to do a polar plunge?
Oh,
You motherfucking get it then.
This is something that I tried to get us to do when we were in Chicago. It wasn't a very good setting to try to get in the water in the
No.
lake, you know. But in this particular circumstance, we had a better setting. So we teased it in Painted Lady's story and in my story. And we woke up and Painted Lady was already wearing her bikini in my room when I woke up. She was sitting there waiting to go and do the polar plunge. So,
I in no way wanted to do this, but I chickened out one time when I was in Chicago. When I lived in Chicago, I was supposed to do it. And I chickened out. I just was like, I'm not taking the L and going all the way downtown, all that shit. Anyway, so I didn't do it. And so finally, I was like, this is the most perfect opportunity. We can get our towels right there in the vestibule. We can just towel off and then run right into the hot tub. The hotel had a hot tub. And so we just suited up, and the water temperature was like 34 degrees.
34 degrees today. I looked it up.
I can't even imagine this at all.
So
We just got hit by a Lake Michigan iceberg out there, man.
there was ice floating in the water.
I believe it. Yeah.
And for those of you that know me, I hate to be cold. And I mean, anything below 70 is jacket weather.
Go.
Well, funny you asked, Tara. We were like, as we were standing on the balcony, because we were on the 5th floor of this hotel, and then we kept noticing that it looked really shallow. So we're thinking to ourselves, how far are we going to have to go out before we plunge? You know, because essentially you're supposed to just be able to like, and then get back out. And
Right.
so
Think of
we had no clue. We had no idea. But I mean, it's really clear, beautiful water. So we could see like it looked like sandbar-ish type of situation. But like, well, maybe it's deeper than we think. Well, it was not. And it felt like an eternity trying to fucking walk out there. As soon as my feet hit the water, I felt like it was like my legs started to seize up almost.
Oh,
It
Lord.
was like knee deep for like a mile. Is that what you're saying?
Not even. It
Oh
was
my
like
God.
ankle deep.
Oh my
And
god!
so then I started trying to get out to deeper water.
You should
And
just flattened it right.
Yeah, that's a polar plunge 2 inches deep.
Other
Lay
people
down,
are
Sally.
watching this like, look at these fucking
Here's-
idiots.
Here's
Is there sound to this
As we were
story?
leaving the
So can you hear the
vestibule.
sound?
I'm dying.
There is a benefit.
No, there's no sound.
There is a benefit to cold
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah,
you
there's a
can
sound.
There it is. There it is.
You reduce your inflammation that day.
She's like, fuck,
I passed away.
I died.
Sequence, are you wearing shoes?
No, neither of us are wearing shoes.
Oh, nice.
You got your Speedo on, Sequence?
No. You'll see here in just a second. So the first one that I have to queue up is Painted Lady's view from. So we both set up cameras and took. It's basically the same view, but from both of our cameras, just in case one of them fell over or something like that.
Exactly.
This
You
is
want
Painted
proof of this
Lady's
shit.
view of us doing the polar plunge.
Terrible. It was awful.
Let me share it here.
It's crazy. I
Lots
can't
of steps.
this.
Lots of
Oh my
steps.
goodness. I'm cold just thinking about this.
It was so. So bad.
Okay, we're doing
Hi.
I want to see if you push her in the water.
No, hell no. I know
Oh
better.
no!
You know
oh,
better.
no.
Look at that.
Keep going.
Look how
guys.
shallow it is. So we're like,
she,
fuck it.
she gives up.
Oh,
That counts. She's like, it
Like,
counts.
here we go. Here we go. Fuck this shit.
My teeth are chattering.
That's snow. That's not sand right there.
No,
That's
Right.
snow.
That's not sand.
God.
I mean, are we gonna count that? I think we need to do a
Yes.
poll in chat whether or not that was
Yes.
actually a
Oh,
polar
we need a
plunge.
poll, huh?
It was like
Fuck you guys. You have to
I'll go on record and say it's way the fuck more than I'll do.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
It's way more than I thought that Painted Lady would ever do. Every night when we get into bed, we've got a preheated bed with an electric blanket. The whole
what?
deal. Oh yeah.
You guys all
Jesus.
saw me at Larry's pool. It took me like an hour to be able to get in, and it was the summertime and it was hot. So this
I
is
think
like
you had a heated pool too.
this was enormous. An
I'm sorry,
enormous-
I'm stuck on preheated and bed right now. Those are two words. I didn't
Yeah,
put
what
together.
the fuck?
Technology, guys.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're stuck on preheated in bed?
I mean, the only thing I
Look
preheat
at
is
you
my
go,
oven. I
Sequence.
didn't
You didn't even
realize
slow
that-
down, brother. I'm watching.
Preheat my
That's
car.
right, dude.
You just kept it going like a airborne shuffle. Oh, and down he goes. There we go.
Oh, it's so cold,
he was
bro.
about to go really deep when he realized Painted
Oh.
Lady was like,
Already running past him.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm too tall for this.
Glasses. Ew, you could have lost your
Nice,
glasses. You're gonna
guys.
have to go back out there and go fishing for them.
That's what she said.
Oh,
You could have lost your
Hey.
glasses out there.
let me tell you, when I got back up to the sand and
Snow.
my legs were seizing up. They were just seizing. Look at our footprints.
That's awesome.
When we see how we see this, the footprints to the left are the ones that we entered. Like, so we went to the fire pit and went in. And so when we were leaving, we were so fucking disoriented. Or, I don't know if sequence was or what, but we ran this way up along the side of people's rooms, and, like, along by the grass. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't the right way. I was so disoriented. I'm like, we're running to somebody's room. Oh no, we're gonna freeze out here. My legs are seizing up. And I see him going like this. And I'm like, what is he doing? I guess he's excited we did this. And apparently there was some woman out there clapping for us. Like,
Hey,
on her
look at these
balcony.
idiots outside.
There's a woman clapping on her balcony at us and cheering us on our way back.
Nice.
You can do it from the comfort of her balcony with you
Yeah,
just
exactly.
so close.
The heat rolling out of the door. You can definitely tell whose footprints are whose. I mean, it's clear that
Mhm.
Painted Lady's got the little dainty footprints and these
Oh, I was on
giant,
my
like,
tiptoes.
yeah. He's like the mad dash like a dog back
He's
to that
got
room.
the stride down. He knows how to get that wide stride, so it's like
Hard and standard,
minimal.
man. That's dual layer.
Terrible. It was like Neil's, and then we ran inside. Well, actually, we were smart, brought a bottle full of water so that we could rinse our feet off, and then went in the vestibule and dried off real quick, and then
See
went
anybody
in
in
the
the
hot tub while everyone was eating breakfast right there in the
There you
breakfast
go.
tub.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we did that at like 10 in the morning, chat, by the way.
That's awesome.
As soon as we got
It was
up.
9:30.
As soon as I got up.
probably Kingfisher.
I'm screaming out there. "Ah!"
We did say that it was a very well-to-do area, and it's bloodthirsty screaming out there probably draws a bit of attention.
I don't know.
You know what? They
You get-
probably were watching from their windows going, they must be high. They probably were.
Oh, the
It's those people that were at that
entertainment
restaurant that
John.
smelled like skunks, man. That's who those
Yeah.
people are.
How
Serves
bad
them right.
would it have been if you got back in the jacuzzi? It was like out of order.
There's other people in there. Like,
It would have been terrible, but we would have done. We would just gone up to the shower.
Yeah.
Whew, that was fun. I would do it again. It was an experience.
you
I would
have to. You
too.
said do anything twice, right? So that
Yep.
was number one.
Yeah,
You still
try
got
everything
one on.
twice.
Now you gotta
I felt
find a
great,
deep spot that you can like jump in
Yeah, I would like to jump in.
off like a dock or something. I don't know.
Because you can do it instant. Running in for like
Yeah.
30 yards, that's brutal. When the
Yeah.
water's like less than knee deep, But we eventually got to about knee deep water where we could get in there.
When you watched the video back the first time, did you go, man, it seems like we were just taking forever to get out to where we were? And then you watch the video back, you're like, holy shit, we were only in there for like 7 seconds. All right.
Yeah.
I watched the video and I'm like, this whole video is 33 seconds long. And I was like, this was like a major ordeal in my brain. Getting in there and getting out.
Yeah.
I basically just did a burpee in that fucking water. I was over it. I'm like, all right, we're not getting any further, and my feet are gonna die. I'm gonna have like frostbite. I don't want to lose all my toes for some stupid thing. So yeah, but it was fun, and I'd do it again.
I couldn't believe she was the first one in the water. None of her good friends will be able to believe that she did it. So I'm glad we got it on video.
I know my friend next door, I thought would be totally on board with doing it. That one day was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that ever. And it was very shocked, but I thought it was great and it was fun. And I felt great afterwards. It got your heart because we were running and it was
Invigorating.
cold. And holy shit, your body is seizing up. His dick hurt for a long time afterwards.
That's personal.
said-
That's
Is
private.
that the reason, or
I shared that with you in confidence.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sure it was from the whole week and not
yeah,
just
that's what I'm saying.
but I think
Blame it on Lake Michigan. Why
There was some
not?
shriveling going on for sure.
everything was seasoned up, believe me. So I mean, hey, you have to
You told
figure
that in confidence
Dick's
too.
part of it.
I was trying to find a good way to
Ask that question.
to share this video with transitioning into polar plunge. I'm so lost right now about seizing up, but I'm sharing a video that you guys maybe think of. It's a drone video I filmed, I don't know, several years ago. I guess it's published in 2017. But my buddy took a polar plunge in Lake Michigan on Charlevoix one time, and it wasn't. That's him out here.
Oh,
That's not too far from where we were.
Yeah, no, it's not, and that's so that's all the the ice just over the lake. This is still not. This is over the lake as well, but
People
he's
don't
out on some
realize
thinner ice, and that wasn't the first
There
time
we
he
go.
fell in. I think there's a
yikes!
second point, and I'm much bigger than him, so it was a little. It's kind of like, hey, buddy, you're gonna have to get yourself back here. But
Oh, dude, I'm surprised you guys walked out. That shit's scary to walk out on that stuff.
You don't want to go underneath, man.
Yeah, that's not the right
Oh.
kind of ice to be on.
Yeah. That's
No,
rocky.
learn a lesson real quick.
hell no.
For people that don't live in Michigan or have never seen the Great Lakes, it looks like an ocean for all intents and purposes. You can't see
Oh, yeah.
across there. You're getting huge waves, especially if you go up towards Lake Superior. But northern Lake Michigan area is also very fucking active. So,
Dude,
The
it's
Great
everything
Lakes,
but the
no
smell
joke.
of salt.
It's
Right.
amazing.
All the way to the
seagulls, all
right.
of it, right? Yep.
Everything but the smell of salt. You're right.
It's really, I mean, I going up to Sleeping Bear Dunes and just standing at the top of the dunes this summer, and I'm just looking over Lake Michigan. You can see nothing. You know what I mean? There's no end to it in any direction, and it's just like, yeah, I've been to most of the oceans, and this feels like every one of them except the smell of salt. Like that's really all it's missing, and maybe a little bit warmer weather every once in a while.
It'd be nice if the water was a little warmer, but can't get. But,
And sharks and jellyfish and
Ugh.
stingrays.
You can keep that shit in Florida, bro. We're good on that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so crazy what happens to the beach in the winter.
Playground.
The beach like disappears. It's all like 4 feet of just solid glacier, and it's just it's extended for like 200 yards. It's amazing, and then it all just breaks away and chunks up, and you don't want to be anywhere near that thing in the springtime.
Yeah, that pancake ice is dangerous though. Don't be going out and walking on that stuff.
Yeah, it really is. That stuff
It's
chips
not
up.
regular old lake ice where you're going ice fishing or something.
Just saw a hole in it, man.
Yeah, it looks like it's a far ways, but just walk out on that stuff and it starts chipping away.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of lessons in chat here. We knew it was dangerous, guys. That was
He had a drone. He
Well, I
could've-
used a drone, you know. the
Yeah,
drone
yeah,
was
that could
better.
have
Yeah,
pulled him out, right?
drone,
Just hold on to it.
jeez.
It's
It was
When
totally
you call the
DJI,
National
right?
Guard, you can at least point them out.
Yeah.
You'll see him. He's a guy out there with a really white Fagroli hat and white
Yeah,
shirt on.
yeah,
You'll
on the
definitely
ice and
see
the
him out
snow.
there.
Yeah,
There's
totally
no
see
predators
The
out
one
there.
that smells like a skunk in the ice.
it.
Save
Uh,
the turps, man. Save the turps.
I will
Save
say
the tubes.
he grew up right off of Lake Michigan, right there in Charlevoix and stuff. So I know that wasn't his first time, but I certainly didn't want it to be his last either. You know
Right,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Just don't mess with it. You know.
Mhm. It's a good time though. We enjoyed it, and I would do it over again. I absolutely would.
Favorite part and worst part. Let's hear it, both of you.
We know what the
Of the
worst
dip?
part is.
I felt really good afterwards.
Yep.
So
Oh.
muscle and bone pain, felt really, really good. I've got a lot of that stuff, so that was great.
You reduce your inflammation for a brief 5 seconds. And that was probably enough to give all you need is that shock, man. That shock's good enough to fucking get you for the afternoon, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know how it
Yeah.
works. I heard it like shocks your
It's
brain
so
and makes it
cold.
Your
Cold
brain
is
produces a bunch of chemicals and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. Release a bunch of chemicals. Yeah.
I know a big part of it is when you're doing a polar plunge or ice bath or whatever you want to call it. Your blood goes to your organs to protect your organs. So that's why your skin gets really cold, right? All the blood is leaving your layer of like that outer layer where your skin is, and it's going towards your organs. Slowly after you get out and after, a certain amount of time, that blood will kind of go back to where it was. But having that big rush of blood to your organs also has to do something, right? Like you're kind of bringing all your body's nutrients and everything right into the most important part. So I would assume that does something. I went as far as biology, like 201, so I couldn't tell you, but that's my bro science for the night.
The Wim Hof lesson for today.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's neat. It really is. And it lasted for several hours before you started feeling normal again, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but until we start decorating the trees, we picked up a couple trees on our way home, heading out of town. So we got Sequence decorated this little one.
Oh,
I
a
like
little
that
tiny one.
It's like, what it reminds me of is like a
Charlie
the
Brown.
That's all
burning
you
bush.
need.
Man.
That's all you need.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
and
cut
then
them
we
down,
got
or
them-
did you like just pick them up at a tree farm?
This little parking lot stand, this guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
He was
just
an
yesterday I
interesting
drove up
critter.
to the Huron Forest. We noticed last week there is sort of a difference, even though it's technically the same one. But we drove up as a family again for our traditional tree hunt in the national forest and found ourselves a nice 11-foot tall tree, which we're gonna have to cut down a little bit, but I don't have that tall ceilings. But it's beautiful. It's better than the one we found last year. And I actually bought a permit for 2 trees, or 2 permits worth. And we couldn't even find a one that was good enough to cut down after we found that one. So we just came home with one for now. But yeah, we saw a lot of those little trees like that size. I don't know if you can cut those ones down, but I'm like, man, I have so many spots, like corners of my house. I could probably use something like that.
I don't know
I
if
was
this was
thinking
the
he
whole
topped it.
tree or just
think
the
you
top
topped
of
it.
the tree.
Yeah, you just topped it and then you
Probably.
shaped out the top on the other one. If it's a little too
Yeah.
tall for the living room, you got 2 trees and one right there.
And now you got a spot for your star or whatever, your angel or whatever you're putting on top.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to hang a bunch of quartz bangers off there. And
Oh my God.
color changing lights in there with it, man. And we'll get that sparkle.
A bunch of quartz bangers. Yeah.
That is really good. I have maybe 4. I'm gonna need it. Maybe I'll just decorate a cola or something with some quartz bangers.
So,
Yeah, man.
what did everybody else do this weekend?
Yeah, what's
You
going
guys
on
have
with
some
you guys?
fun?
I drove 676 miles round trip to Naperville and back in one day. That was fun. Got to see a lot of people on the way there and back. Just needed to pick up some supplies from Best Value Vax. So what are they called? Better Building Vision and Variety. I don't know, whatever their name is nowadays. But yeah, Best Value Vax, as we all probably know them. And on the way back, I got to stop by and hang out with a bunch of people. And one of them I hadn't met before. I don't think he had been to any shows or anything, but he was actually a fan of this show. So that was kind of cool. And I don't know if I should call him out or not publicly here, but I'll tell you in the chat, I guess, who it was, but he told me to tell you, Painted Lady. He said hi. And he was very hospitable, welcoming, got to meet his wife and everything. His dogs were not happy I was there, but that was cool. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool just to kind of see people along the way. But yeah, it was a lot of driving one day. It was a lot of driving, but yeah, that was probably the excitement of my week, to be honest. Other than that, I harvested that Cobra milk, and it's in a freezer, my vac seal bag in my freezer, and that'll be the next strain I'm going to run, or the next flavor. But I'm going to run it on its own, even though I didn't quite have enough to fill up the entire column. It's probably like 75% or so it'll still be enough to make it worth my while. But yeah, I mean, I was out of cleaning solvent, everything. I had to make a trip to get that done.
Sweet.
I want to see what it comes
Cobra
out like
milk,
as a
yeah.
concentrate, man, because the
Purpose
flour
milk.
was good.
It was a good weekend for driving, man. Gas prices are down. Driving up.
Dude, I paid so I paid $3.19 in Michigan City, Indiana. That was kind of the cheapest I saw. Like, I didn't want to pay out in Chicago, but going up north yesterday to harvest our tree, exit 144 off of I-75, there's a Love's, I think it was Love's or Flying J gas station. It was $2.77. Which was cheaper than the Costco. I saw. Yeah, so I'm like, I guess I know where to stop on the way home, But yeah, it was good Saturday to drive. It was a nice drive with the family. But dude, I left at like 5:30 a.m. I think to go to Chicago, and beautiful drive. Just was cruising, cruise control the whole way. Was getting passed by all the people trying to get to work, and just enjoying my ride the whole way. And then on my way home, I get, to that Michigan City area, and I'm still cruising. And like the second I get to Michigan, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, oh, I think it snowed here. And I don't know if you guys saw my stories I posted, but like I saw multiple semi pileups. Like they had shut down westbound 94
Yeah.
for a few miles.
Mhm.
I mean, I drove through at least 25 different accidents. I actually saw a state trooper, a Michigan police state trooper, pulled off behind a car on the side of the road, changing their tire for them. As another, I think it was a county sheriff or something, pulled up behind him with his lights on, but he was out there changing his tire. And I'm like, man, that's real police work. You know, like if we're gonna talk and protect and serve, like you're stuck out there stranded in a freaking blizzard that's blowing through the state and really like shutting down the highways.
Were they behind Baked?
What?
Changing Baked's tire for them?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's ask
right.
him.
Changing tons of tires. I'll change the tire. You want a tire off?
You want
Oh,
a tire
oh.
off? Let's use your car and have a tire off.
I can't. I got all-wheel drive.
What's that have to do with anything?
You gotta change all 4 tires.
Well, we just change them and change them back.
Oh, well, yeah. We could do that.
Oh yes, no, we're getting excited about gas prices. Jesus.
How much
They're
money do you
terrible,
have,
man.
dude?
Yeah, man. Fuck. We ain't got no gas cards up in here.
He drives. How many miles did you drive last month?
Yeah, like 3,000 miles, I think.
Something crazy.
It tracks
so.
it all the time. Yeah, I've had some crazy ones.
So yeah, we get real excited over lower prices.
Painted Lady's got a lead foot.
What do you mean, painted lady, bro? I've followed you before. I know what's up. There's not a single person on this. Well, I don't know. Red might drive slow. Tara flies. Baked fucking gets on it. Spartan is already fucking 2 stoplights ahead of us, no matter what we're
Spartan
doing.
is
You know, fuck,
a worse lead foot than me.
Mm-hmm.
there's just no speed limits.
Spartan's like red
You
lights
can
are
speed limits you
suggestions.
speak of.
I swear to God, he said that or something along the lines once.
I did say that as I went through a red light.
Yeah, it was near Kickstart, and I was like, okay.
I put
There are some
120,000
places in
miles
rural
on-
America where if you stop at a red light for like 3 seconds, you can go. There are a lot of those, but I don't know if they're around here.
Don't try it in Chicago. I
Yeah.
almost got. Ooh, wasn't good. not good idea.
We were clocking at like 17 miles to the gallon today, so I'll take all the low gas prices.
Fuck, dude, really?
Yeah. Well, most of the time. No, not out. We were going a little fast today. We were getting up there. We were going like 75, 80. Ended up getting like
He says a little fast.
17 miles a gallon. Yeah.
Dude. You know what's so crazy is it's gotten to the point.
I definitely don't speed.
Shit, it's 80 miles an hour on 94 right now.
I'm
Man.
always
Like
riding
that's what
very
the right lane's doing 80.
It's the best, man. People got somewhere to go. I'm about it.
I disagree, Skilba. The right lane's doing 80.
The right lane is doing 80 if you go.
The right
And the
lane-
left
the
lane's
right
doing
lane-
65.
The right lane
No,
lately has been doing 65 or 55, and the left lane's doing 65.
Oof,
You get stuck behind these bozos lately.
bozos.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
no,
average like
since we can be
Okay,
a public
Boomer.
PSA. If you're not going fast, get over.
Right.
Pretty simple.
It's the fucking law in Michigan,
law.
too.
No, it's the law.
There's time for it,
It's
dude.
the law.
They still don't care.
Read the signs.
They think if
not
they're,
enforced.
they think if they're doing
I've
76
never
miles an
seen.
hour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
No
They're
one's
doing
ever
76
talked to
miles an hour.
somebody and they were like, "Yeah, I got pulled over. I was going too slow in the left lane.
That's why
I got a ticket."
you as a civilian need to start enforcing it. You know, it's
That's
kind
right.
of
Oh,
like
yeah.
of
Only enforcement.
Vigilante.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not encouraging anything like that. But
You just
I
take
enforce-
it, cut
I
off,
enforce
rub
it
the
with my
garden hose
horn.
around, and start beating everybody that.
That's why they invented horns. I just want to upgrade mine.
just lay on
It's
it.
louder.
I mean, I'm getting my wife a
Video
whiteboard
game
for
noises.
Christmas as a passenger. She's been asking for it for years, just so she
what?
can write a
What?
whiteboard, like a handheld
Oh,
whiteboard, so she can write
yes.
messages to people as we drive by.
There you go.
You're
I've always wanted a way to quickly be able to relay messages to people like, "Yo, you're a piece of shit and you suck at driving."
Yeah. Don't tell her, but I'm
Mm.
also gonna
No.
fully limo tint our windows, you know, just for my safety.
Right. So Baked, I would think that you would have the one that does like the scrolling ticker on it. You would just have
That's
it, like,
what I
that
was
it
thinking
hooks over
about
top
one
of
time.
Windows, and it just
Yeah,
says you're
but
a
like
fucking
you'd have to have
asshole.
a way to quickly type something. Like, I
It's-
hope you don't
dude, it's
Procreate because you suck at
2023
driving.
almost. We're gonna do.
See, I don't
voice
imagine
text.
the types of people
Voice
being able
text.
to read that well. So you can't have a
Raspberry
long
Pi.
message.
Yeah, that's
It's
exactly. Yeah,
Just an
it's
animated
short
middle
message,
finger.
the
but
whiteboard
you
is the
want middle
key,
finger.
but then you need a Copilot for the whiteboard,
Yeah, you don't want to be
and the
distracted.
Copilot has to be down,
No,
you know, in case we gotta stop after the whitebboard
In
message.
case we get
that's what
followed
the
home.
emojis
Yeah.
are for.
Never know.
Whoever's
we
the one
piss
that's
off
holding up the
somebody.
whiteboard's the one getting their ass kicked in the first place. So
Who's getting shot at when it comes down to it?
Yeah.
they're the ones that started the conflict.
Well,
I don't know.
well, yesterday, me and Baked and Tara got to hang out over at Old Man's house, and we
Yeah.
had some good food.
And Nut Tree.
And well, Troy was there too, of course. And we had guests that we don't normally sesh with. So I
Yeah.
would like to give a shout out to the lady that made these. These are the Wonder Ones. Her name is Tara. Her name is Kim.
And she works at Winewood, and she does the
I
edibles.
remember
Is phenomenal.
Bomb
Yeah.
or fire.
Nice.
really good. The ginger ones is what we
Lemon
got.
ginger. Yep, there you go. The lemon ginger. She brought
It's
up.
got pineapple.
Yeah, it's pineapple.
So
the CBD ones.
what Old Man has been doing lately is he's got a friend that makes medicated honey. So he's taking pucks and hooking up the honey with them. And this
Real-
shit is fucking
Real quick, is he is he raising the bees and harvesting the honey himself, or is he just medicating the honey?
didn't get that part of the story.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing for Girlie. I forgot to ask.
I've been wanting to do that.
To
for
be
a long time.
honest, for Girlie, I mean, I'm not sure because it was mixed with.
It-
I
it
think he
looked-
said 7 grams of rosin. So 7 grams of rosin in. I don't know
Yeah.
if let's imagine this is the jar. It was probably like, you know,
The 8-ounce jar,
right
probably.
there. It was not half full, like 40%
No.
full of honey and rosin. But to me, it looked like organic ass honey.
Yes.
It looked like some natural shit.
Mhm.
So
So
know.
we were there, and one of the guests there was like, "Oh, I want some." So Old Man's like, "Look, man, like a tablespoon of this shit has been like knocking me the fuck out." So this dude takes not one heaping one, but two heaping ones, two heaping like over, because it's, you know, it's honey, it's not going to lay flat, so it's like cooled on the top, into a solo cup with half filled with black coffee. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna be to the moon, man.
There we go.
There you go. You didn't drink it last night?
No, because I wanted to save it and enjoy it. I
Dude, I
get up this morning, but hold on, here we go. On the
drank mine this morning. That's my genius method of how to get it home. We use 2 solo cups. So they put the spoon in, they had the shit on it, throw it in the bottom solo cup, put the other solo cup on top so nothing gets in there with it, man.
I want to mention I was not there for that maneuver because I think I would at the bottom of a solo cup. That's gotta be a pain in the ass to get out.
No, you just pour your coffee in there and then swirl it around.
Oh.
And then you pour back out, so you can pour back and forth.
So you,
like
okay.
Yeah, come on.
Can we do some real quick math here? So you're saying it's like a God? Do I have a jar? Okay,
He was saying that he thinks it's like 200 milligrams per like flat tablespoon is what he figured.
Like one of those for Girlie.
Yeah,
Imagine one of those.
Right. So this is technically a 4-ounce jar. I'm imagining
All right.
you have what, maybe 2.5, 3 ounces in there. Let's just go with, you said it's not full, right? It wasn't a full jar.
Let's just call that 4 ounces.
No, but the jar you're holding is about the amount that was in this jar.
And that was 7 grams of oil
No,
in that.
I don't know how much was in it, but there was 7 grams of hash rosin mixed
Right.
in. So
Okay.
7
So
grams of hash rosin plus whatever amount of honey.
So if we take 4 grams or 4 ounces times 28 grams is 112. Dude, I'm trying to figure out percentage of this because this sounds like it's super high dose. Because I was with 2.5 ounces, I was coming out with 70 grams, right? If we put 7 grams in there, it's essentially 10%. If it's 65% THC, we're talking like 6.5% THC per whatever it is. So if it's a 15 gram tablespoon, That's a lot. That's a heavy
Well,
dose.
before an hour and a half went by,
He was spent.
Well,
he was
give
gone.
him the timeline. So we go back. What was it? Oh, y'all ate, eating, blah blah, eating, talking, smoking. Tried to get the music going, but my jack wouldn't work on the phone. And you'll look over and dude, occasionally on and off. Like it wasn't like static. It was just occasionally he'd be like this. And you'd be like, oh, this dude's out.
He's going down. Yeah,
This
it's coming.
dude's
It's
out.
coming.
But then the next time you
Nope.
look at him, he's just like up.
Come on, Cobra guy.
Come on, Coma
And
guy.
he's laughing and everything, and you're like, all right. So he seems all right.
Yep.
And then his eyes started getting, smaller and
light.
redder, and he started, slinking back, and next thing you know, he needed to switch into a chair, because he couldn't handle the stool. So we switched, and now he's in a chair. And I just
Pushback.
remember we were in the middle of some sort of conversation, and he was just ripped as fuck, and he goes, and like I remember, and he's like, I got a story or something like that, and he had a little story thing,
Oh,
and I was just looking at Skilba the whole time, looking back at him and smiling because this dude was just ripped, just a good high, you could tell.
well,
But he was-
and on
He
top
was
of that, though,
managing it. He was just high.
he smoked with us
Mhm.
the
whole time.
the whole day. So
I
he
was doing
gets
dabs the
mad
whole time.
fucking- Oh yeah, man, that orange.
And he
Bush
was hitting
pop.
them.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, we
Yeah.
had like 4 or 5 different dabs thanks
Oh
to
my God.
Winewood.
Yeah.
That'll
Oh,
get you
man.
after a while. You're
Yeah.
starting to have enough.
Really nice.
Yep.
Then it was cool because Tara and Troy came through with a whole fucking gym bag full of assorted jars from all kinds of people's stuff. So some Blue Kiss stuff was in there. Some of Indica B's things were in there. Dankman Dan had the was it Golden Apples was in there?
Yep.
That was a nice
Yep.
one.
I got some upstairs. I gotta go
Uh-huh.
get that.
So it was a good time. It was
It was a nice day.
Cool.
It's a bummer we missed it. I wanted to very much to get together around Thanksgiving time, but we'll figure it
there's
out.
always another one. There's
Yeah,
always
COVID, right now, COVID's been getting a few of us. Old man had COVID. That's what, delayed everything getting done when we were planned on. So, and, between COVID right now and the flu, I don't know what's getting people the most. So it's all going around right now. So I hope
RSV too.
and RSV for adults, not just kids. Just so you know, there is a RSV for adults too. They can get that also. So everybody, good hand washing if you can, and don't share too much smoke.
I was just getting ready to ask Red and Becca what they did this weekend, and Red walked off. This was the perfect segue moment.
right. I know they went to the flight.
The Fledge.
Fledge. There we go.
Yeah.
I saw that you had these cool gift baskets. Those were
Yeah.
really cool. Did you set those up?
Yeah, so they're like completely customizable, and so like you could choose pretty much a variety for everything. So we didn't put them together yet. We had people say what they want first.
Yeah, the basket's more of a display rather than
Oh, rather than like a preset type thing. or
yeah,
whatever.
it's more of a bundle bulk.
Because they got
Oh.
to choose like their flour type or pre-roll or hash. Like those were all different options, and then they got to choose like little mushroom stones.
Cool.
Also. Yeah, so that event was today from 11 to 5. It was super fun. Really good time. Just getting ready for that and doing some work on our moms yesterday. It was a big job.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's cleaned up, took clones, cleaned the mom room.
They were-
You showed us a picture of those moms before you took those clones. Holy shit, those were big too.
Well, they were almost touching the lights, which are, 3 feet taller than me. They're like 8 feet off the ground. Those plants were large, and we took a lot of that biomass home in a garbage bag, and it's just sitting in the garage because we're feeding it to our chickens. We've had like 3 or 4 gallon bags in the refrigerator for like the last 2 or 3 weeks that we pruned up. Back when
just
we were
give 'em-
supposed to clean them
Give
out.
them a handful.
Yeah, we give them like handfuls of that stuff. And
Are your chickens like staggering around all buzzed out or what?
No,
they're
they
flying.
honestly, they
We have to
don't.
clip their wings.
They're listening to Grateful Dead and shit.
They're
Yeah.
pretty cool. They're pretty cool chickens.
They're cool chickens. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they've had a couple days stuck inside, so we have to.
Yeah, we haven't been
I'm
home.
gonna wake up early to let them out.
hmm
But they don't eat all of the leaves like instantly. They kind of just will sit out there, and if they've got nothing to do, it's like something green that they will eat over time. But it's just kind of a little extra something.
Sure.
It's like a bedding they can eat, honestly, you know.
Totally.
No,
That's
nah.
not an unlimited supply, but we got a lot of it, you know.
Yeah. Well,
And
the
it's
longer we grow our
green.
mom, the longer we grow our moms, or like the more we neglect them. I mean, it's just kind of a supplemental food source. It's not their complete food source, but it will in the dead of winter when there's not any grass out there because there's 6 inches of snow on the ground. They won't be able to peck through that shit. They're gonna not want to go on it at all. They're gonna want something to eat. So we have we don't give them our leaves in their coop, but we'll give it to them in their outdoor run. We saved like 5 lawn bags full of dried leaves during like a nice one of those like that last wave of like 70-degree days with like no rain for a couple weeks. We I let all the leaves scatter out on the grass, dry out really nicely, rake them all up and put them in the garage. And so we're trying to get as much out of that just for the winter time. I usually feed it to my garden beds, man, but in a way I will be feeding it to the garden beds completely composted now after they take care of it. They're our little composters, man.
Mhm.
They're just knocking everything that we feed them back. Most of that material, all that green waste would have gone into the beds, but now they get to go through it first and then add their little bit of nitrogen back.
That's a pretty hot fertilizer, though, right?
Very
Yeah.
hot.
You have
Very
to
hot.
compost it for
Need
a
to
while.
compost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a bit of a Pajitsky effect, if you will, recently. I was over at Tractor Supply checking out, food like feed and stuff like that, and the pine shavings and stuff like that for the inside of their coop. But I like throwing down hay and stuff like that around the outside and give them something to scratch with or whatever when they're in the run. And it was I was kind of fortunate that they actually were out of like straw and hay and all that, right? They're compressed bales, they're just kind of anything. And I'm like, well, how much is it? Do I just wait? They said something about having a shipment on Sunday or on Monday, and they're like, oh, it's $14 a bale now. And I was kind of blown away by that because I don't remember ever paying anywhere near that, And the Pajitsky effect is like, look out my window, I have a ton of it out there. I just need to go cut it down and set it aside. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, get the trailer, get the 4-wheeler, go out there with the weed whacker, just start chopping this shit down. Like it doesn't take anything. At $14 a bale is insane.
Right.
Tall grass. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot of it. Like we've saved. So did you tell them that we bucked down our outdoor? All of our outdoor was drying this whole time. we got that down this past week. Also off of hangers, cleared out, the space from which it was hanging.
Did you get a sense of how it turned out? Did it do pretty well?
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna wash it all. Like it's funky. Like it's still like the quality of it's great. I mean, it's dry, it's crispy, right? But it's all seed stock.
Sure.
That was the all. We want it to get nice and dry. That way we can bang the seeds out and get all the seeds off of it. The resin and everything's still intact. So we're going to shuck the seeds out and take all the material that we don't have seed in, and we're going to run it into bubble hash. But what were we talking about? All of the stems, all the stems from the outdoor, they're all dry. There you go. I got an electric chipper. This way I don't get any, maybe oil or anything like that from a gas powered chipper, gas products or anything like that into bedding. And now we're going to grind down all of our cannabis stalks into a finer compost material, but rather than composting it, we're going to use it for our chicken bedding. So this way, same for Girly, same deal. So we don't have to we're still going to have to purchase bedding, but we can at least supplement.
Close the loops, man.
exactly. Grow our own stalks and
Dude, I use it for kindling. I'm like, what am I doing with all these stems
What
right
kind-
here? You might as well start the fires with it. You know what I mean? It gives you a little fragrance too.
yeah,
The bunch of
kinda-
oil.
what
kind of hay is it?
Breezy.
yeah.
Alfalfa hay?
I mean, what I'm growing in my yard is just straight grass, but you can get alfalfa. I think that can like seed out and stuff. If you're,
I
like,
was just
using
wondering.
it
I'm
for
looking
ground
at
cover.
graphs, and we are in an uptick now. 2022. It's a peak of price for bale of hay.
I mean, what those big you know, like if you're driving out in farmland and they got the big rolls of
Yeah.
hay that you see out in the fields.
Yeah.
Those 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, we're going for $35 a roll, like a bale, like a big.
Oh
So,
wow!
I almost guarantee they're over $100 now. They've
Yeah.
got to be.
Probably more than that.
Mhm.
And imagine the spray free if it's even available.
Yeah,
Spray
yeah. I
free
mean,
prices are probably twice as high as that.
I
you
was
know?
on a 20+ acre hay farm, and that was enough to like cover the taxes for the whole property. Just selling those $35 bales. You know what I mean? I can imagine now it's like, yeah, you're paying your mortgage too, bro.
Everybody starts growing indoor hay.
That's
Get that LED grown.
I've been doing it
fucking
for
hay.
years, bro.
Oh,
no.
nice.
Oh, self-fair, and I love it.
and what you're describing is the basis of permaculture. That's closing the loops. You're basically utilizing your land. You might have a crop that might be your whatever cash crop. You might have some food crops and some other things, but conserve a portion of your property to grow your supplies and your tools, or whatever else it is, your food, your bedding, your eating shit, man. I'm liking the idea of
Renewables.
some of this herd and whole. I want to take some stems and stack them and make planks of wood out of them and shit like that, and build little fucking forts and tree houses, playhouses, whatever.
Get some basket weaving in, man. I want to see some like egg
Yeah,
egg baskets. I'd buy one from you guys.
Have a
you're
fucking
gonna go pick your eggs with a little.
Yeah, better than a
some baskets.
metal one. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
totally. You build that.
What do you look for in an egg basket for Growly?
Something soft, so when I dump my eggs in there, they don't crack. And then, if I miss a day and like they've been out there for 2 days, I need something big enough for like, a dozen and a half eggs or whatever.
Wait, so you don't like line the basket with like hay or something?
No, it's just got to
Soft?
hold eggs to get inside.
It doesn't have to be soft, man. I was collecting in a wire basket, and I was collecting
Yeah.
probably 4 dozen at a time. So I mean,
Normally, I just put
Okay.
them in my hoodie pocket and then try not to break them when I move, around the coop. And
That's what I do. I just shove them in my pockets.
yeah,
Yesterday was the first time there was 3 eggs at once.
nice.
Whoa, baby!
Congratulations.
Catch them.
That's a legit meal.
Bake a cake with that.
Omelet.
Shoving them
I
in my
had an
pocket.
omelet today, dude. It was so good.
I think there's
No,
a.
dude, I made quiche tonight, man. That shit was.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, was that from all that quiche talk the other day, Scobo?
Well, Dad,
exactly what it was, man.
Oh yeah.
Although I
Yeah.
will say, 2 days ago, I decided I didn't have anything like big enough pockets. I decided to take my beanie off and threw all the eggs in there. And I'm like, well, I guess I gotta wash my beanie now. I'm not putting this, poopy egg hat back on.
Right, yeah. Chicken's butt, man.
Yeah.
whoa! What do you mean poopy egg?
You
guys,
never harvested a new egg.
Where do you
huh?
think eggs come from, Dave?
yeah, but like it smells like poop.
No, but there could be some poop on it. You know,
Oh
you gotta
Lord!
wash it
Oh
off.
Lord! I once got offered fresh eggs. I was like, no.
You can
You
wash
can keep
them.
your poop eggs, mister.
Oh no!
What do you
Now you
think
guys
about
ruined the
egg
only
and
other
your
thing that you might eat
Yep, you did.
besides
The more
pretzels.
you know.
Oh shit! Chocolate's got puke in it.
We
Yep,
like
yep,
very
you're right.
very rarely have anything. Like you can sometimes there's like a bloom on it is what preserves it.
There's enough to
So
make
it's
for
a bacteria.
Crowley question if he should take his sweatshirt off or not.
What?
What is this bloom, Becca?
It's bacteria that
Okay.
preserves the egg and makes it
Oh,
so
yeah,
that it
yeah.
won't spoil.
That's the stuff why you're supposed to not wash it.
Yeah, so if you wash that, you got to put them in the fridge. But you can wash them and put them in the fridge. That's
There we
also fine.
Hashtag.
Wait, I had my headphones off. Sorry. It's how does that go, right? Like if you don't wash them, you can keep them longer, but if you do, in the commercial ones,
You don't have to refrigerate them.
the commercial ones are bleached, right?
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
go.
they have to be washed, and that's why they have to stay in the fridge because they don't have the bloom, the bacteria on them. So if you just take them and put them in your egg basket or your carton, they can stay out for like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we just have them sitting on top of our microwave in like several of the cartons. You know what I mean? Like leftover cartons.
It weirds me out when I see room temperature eggs, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's like butter too, though. You can do that with butter.
Yeah, my mom does that with butter.
I've done it with butter though. I've never like not had eggs in the fridge. So it's
You ever
weird.
do it with cottage cheese?
No.
No.
Well, here.
Oh, okay.
I've done it with regular cheese. So regular cheese is much better at like room temperature.
Curdling, yeah, the cheese. So, like, we have a lot of our foods is like grocery stores. Most of us are frequenters. Grocery stores. We frequent the grocery store. FDA certifications, are only so lenient, and a lot of times, in order to sell your eggs to the grocery store, you are required to have FDA stamp, and in order to get that stamp, you need to either be certified organic or something in order to get those eggs in there raw like that, or unbleached, so to speak, or you need to run them through bleach water. And a lot of times that's why eggs are white, is because they're not just washed, but they have to be soaked in bleach, dunked in bleach, and then put on the shelf. So it's like, it's your toss up.
Eggs are not white. Eggs are not white.
Eggs are all white. Every egg is white. It's made out of calcium. The outside coating may not be. They might be different colors, but yeah, all eggs.
So the other side of the egg is white. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look on the inside of a fresh egg, even though it could be blue, if you crack it open, the inside is going to be white every time.
Washing of the eggs whitens them. Bleaching.
What about the brown eggs at the store that are all like the same shade brown? What are they washing those with?
Those ones I think are just certified.
Just probably water.
Yeah.
Just probably water or vinegar or something.
They're probably have some sort of organic certification that allows them to bypass bleaching, but they probably still have to be washed, which still needs refrigeration.
Yeah. I've eaten a lot of regular brown eggs from like farms and stuff, but I've always still put them in the fridge.
Sure. You guys ever got blue eggs, the Easter egg? Or
yeah.
Like robin eggs? They taste delicious.
That's what I thought was a robin egg too.
There's chickens.
You guys are stealing robin. What? That is a state bird. What is wrong with you? I'm pretty sure that's a felony.
You go out. You got to go out for like 3 days of foraging eggs to get a breakfast.
Seriously. Oh my god, they're so small.
There's chickens that lay blue eggs too, and green eggs.
Yeah, for Girly, why don't you do that math? We'll crack up enough eggs to fill that little container like we were doing the honey, and then you can tell us how many.
Yeah, he's about to pull out his TI-83 again.
TI-83 baked.
He's like, hang on.
I am.
Listen, it's just simple math, guys. Don't you? I mean, we have to do this to make edibles.
Stoner math, dude. We don't do it on air.
Look like
somebody. Hey, what the
we
fuck?
didn't have all the info.
I had my calculator.
Quail eggs do look like Whoppers.
Oh, they look like Whoppers.
Yes.
Little speckled Whoppers.
Little tiny little thing. Those are cute. I've never seen blue ones though. I don't think that you can eat.
Yeah.
Do they taste better?
I don't think they taste any
I think they're very similar.
Yeah.
I think it's like blue M&Ms. They taste the same.
It's just a breed. It's just the breed of chicken.
Is it a blue chicken?
Easter.
No, they're Easter eggs. They're like they tend to be very like decorative type chickens.
There are blue chickens. I've seen them at the fair.
There's black, like completely black, like shiny.
Do not Google blue chicken on Urban Dictionary.
Dude, there's some cool looking chickens out there.
Or
not blue waffles, Gilbo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool waffles out there too.
Don't do that. Don't do that one. That's definitely another
Don't do that one either.
Trick no good.
Skillbo's out there giving bad info. Yeah. Blue waffle, you're good to go, man.
I thought he was more
blue. Go all in.
Blue egg. Don't do that.
Wait. If you would take the blue eggs, and make waffles, are they blue waffles?
Oh Lord.
I believe they are. Yeah.
Hey, so Palean sequence. What'd y'all do with the seeds? You just watered them.
So far,
and they were good.
So
because it was right timing.
The ones that have popped are good. The ones that haven't popped are not gonna pop, of course. Limarilla, I don't
Yeah.
think is going to pop. So
Are you going to do
Yeah.
replacements for those?
we are going to add some more seeds. Painted
The
I'll just
Arise
maybe-
and Golden Goat.
Oh hell yeah!
We're going to put
Nice.
those in place of some of the ones that didn't pop to try to fill the count.
Yes, and my
Sweet.
wonderful friend that took care of Diamond and all the cats took care of the little baby plants and sprayed the little seedlings for us and stuff and did a fantastic job of keeping them alive. So many thanks to her again. And yeah, they're doing pretty well. They're just, trucking along down there.
Nice.
Then, of course, if possible, that one we talked about, I'd love to grow that one too, as well. Now he doesn't remember.
You and I?
Yeah, the one I asked you about after one of our shows recently.
Yeah, I don't remember. If it
Doesn't
was
matter.
after a show, I would have
he's
been knee
2/3
deep in
asleep, man.
I was
THC.
like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, can I have such and such plant? I don't know if you have rules if you can't give it out or not. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I just took clones. But now he doesn't remember.
So here we go with you trying to. This is a story of the show right here, man. Sequence always gets promised clones, and then waits.
It's no problem. You just gotta remind me.
Wait a
I
minute.
don't know.
Which
What do you
clone are
want?
we waiting
I'll
on?
remind you.
Act
Wait.
one?
No, Red. This is your cue here. What are we waiting
GMO?
on for sequence?
No, it was Sour D.
Oh yeah.
Citrine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Becca. This is Treek.
I was reading chat, so I didn't.
So Red already told me he would give me Citrique, and I didn't pick it up at that time when he had it available.
We just
But
took
I
a
can't hold
ton of
it.
clones, so assuming that some of them, we may actually have some more Citrique.
I would love
Yeah.
to grow that. I think
The
painted lady would
lime.
just like the flavor of it.
Well, since you guys didn't get the lime seeds that you were trying to pop, like maybe having a
Yeah.
ringer wouldn't hurt to have one.
I wouldn't be opposed, that's for sure. I do love
Yeah.
lime. That's my favorite new terp.
Oh, dude, yeah, you love Citrique.
Well, we're
Or
going to be in
new
Lansing
paper.
next weekend.
Actually-
and
Right.
Sorry,
Hold on.
we have a butt ton of seeds, dude. I'll load you up with a nice little stash of Citrique and green room seeds if you want to hunt some more lime. On your
I don't know if we're looking for a CBD cross. We might.
right.
We might.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of it is going to be CBD. Some of it might come through with the
Right.
the.
Yeah, it'll be all sorts of different percentages.
Right,
I guess.
That's what I'm thinking it should be.
Different blends and cross.
I wouldn't be opposed to a CBD cross, actually.
I'm thinking it's going to give. I'm thinking that the old sativas of yesteryear had CBD in them. So my idea with the Citrique is bringing back the old sativa.
Why do you say that?
It might mellow it a little,
Because of like the anthropology of cannabis, the way that hemp, high CBD textile hemp worked its way from Spain into the Americas. I think that what we got coming up from the south of the border era, during the influx of like Acapulco Gold and stuff like that, I think was old sailor hemp from the Spanish coming through and bringing it in from the Nina Pinta, Santa Maria, and all that stuff coming in and bringing it over to the New World, so to speak. And then it kind of made its way through the South. At least this is my theory, that it was like more of a hemp cultivar that kind of got supplemented with a different equatorial environment, and it needed to readapt so over the past 300 or 400 years the THC levels in the sativa rose, but not enough to really do much to it. That's why the THC levels in those strains were never that high until the 70s, when we brought back stuff from India, the Afghans and the indica, so to speak, the India landrace, bred it for high THC numbers. And here we are today with all these hybrids and such.
Well, where's the CBD coming from?
The hemp cultivars that came over, and that's why it still exists in hemp.
But you think that the landrace type sativas consisted of a lot of CBD?
I think that I think that the
Not a lot, just
I think that
any amount of it.
I don't think there's feral cannabis at all, except for maybe in the Himalayas. But I think that these selected varieties that came over from the Europeans into the South America region through phenotypical adaptation got more THC to them from sunlight as a defense mechanism to the equilateral environment. So bring hemp down south, give it 400 years of adaptation, and then you have high THC hemp, aka sativa.
I like your theory. It's sound and logic and stuff, at least.
Yeah,
but does that only cover South American sativas then? Is that kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, because then you have there's just not that much instances of like short, stocky, broadleaf, equilateral cultivars. Like a lot of the short, stocky stuff come from usually Asia or the Middle East, and a lot of them. Well, and I don't mean that they come from there as if it's feral cannabis. I mean that feral cannabis probably came from the Himalayas or Russia of some origin, and then worked.
They're efficiently grown there.
Yeah, like 30,000 years ago. But then through natural selection and human selection and adaptation, they've gotten different terpene profiles and cannabinoid ratios. And so, you take these seeds all over the planet, and you might start with one varietal, and 100 years goes by, and all of a sudden you have a completely different variety, adapted to your environment, to your selections, right? We're not talking about natural selection. We're talking about human selection based on human needs or desires for whatever specific market it's being tailored for. Is it being used for clothing? Is it being used for a fuel? Is it being used as a medicine, as a spiritual source? It was used for all of these things. All over the world has anthropology of the plant,
You make me think about something and applying that to modern day knowledge and how we have testing, laboratory testing, whether, we can argue about how accurate it is or whatever, but the main focus for the last, almost 2 decades now has been THC percentage. That's because it's one of the most commonly tested for things, I'm wondering if laboratory testing is one of those things that's going to continue to drive a market for THC percentage, or if it will eventually catch up with like the terpene testing and stuff and allow for that to become part of the educational sphere and to get pushed in terms of the choices that the consumer is making as well.
I think people's preferences drive THC numbers down. So
yeah, I do.
Well, I think there's a market for everything.
Your average person walking the street or soccer mom or whatever is not looking for a 35% like fucking blow my wig back strain. A lot of them are looking for strains that they used to smoke, or they're looking for something that just makes them
give me
feel
that blue
good.
dream.
You know what I mean? So I think that we're going to have a resurgence of good tasting cannabis that is a more tolerable percentage.
17% for the win.
I would certainly agree with that as being in like once the robust not even the connoisseur market, but just like the people wanting to get into the palatable cannabis market, right? They just want to experience flavonoids. They might not be a connoisseur, so to speak, but maybe they understand the difference between real boof and mids and garbage sprayed, whatever, how deep you want to go down that rabbit hole, and like something that's, maybe, even small batch, commercially grown, quality handled, that type of stuff. I think that the one hurdle that we have is the education at the bud tender sales level, where a lot of them do just kind of push either the most hype or popular strain, which at the time usually is whatever is the most high testing THC number. Now there will be a point, I think, once.
Are you going to be a repeat customer though? If somebody goes buy this really high testing one and then you have a bad experience?
No. Well, it depends. It depends how novice
man.
you are. It depends how novice you are. You know, I mean, if it blows you back and you're like, oh, that's really good, you might go back under just the guise of being ignorant to what else is available.
But, hold on, you're going to go back. You're just not going to try the same strain, and chances are the same strain might not even be available the next time you go in. They're just it's a rotating thing, so it's
it might be available under a different name,
right,
or whatever. But like it, so then you because it got like a different test result or some stupid shit. But then the other thing that I can sort of see happening is, and to agree with Sequence, is that the people that kind of, because some packaging is starting to show terpene, whether or not it's numbers, it's flavonoids, it's pictographs, they're showing something on there. I think that eventually, in order for the market value to come back up, somebody's going to have to start doing something different. And I think that is applying those quantitative values to the cannabis so that the consumer can say, why does this cannabis make me feel this way and this one makes me feel this way? Because personally, my favorite, and I'm talking about me, I'm not talking about theoretical anymore, me is my Granddaddy Purple is some of my favorite cannabis, and it tested like 15%. I've never tested the terpenes on it, but I have to imagine it has a moderate amount of like myrcene or something.
I mean, that's kind of my theory. Is like I feel like real cannabis is going to come back.
Yeah,
stuff like GDP or.
I feel like real cannabis is here. People just aren't. You're not going to find it at a dispensary. That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the dispos won't buy 15% cannabis. You know what I mean? They only want 20 and above. And so, yeah, like it's a crazy will a consumer ever experience good cannabis if not through a home grower?
Well, it's another interesting thing is like if a dispensary does have that,
totally fine with that.
I agree with that, Spartan. I'm kind of cool with that. I mean,
if the dispensary does have the lower percentage, do you think people would buy it because it'd be like lower price, right? They might automatically think it's less good,
right?
You know?
Well, it's just like take cannabis out of it and look at food. Food's the same way. The best food is grown.
Right.
You know what I mean? The best food is grown by yourself. So it's not like there's giant corporations pushing to prevent people from gardening at home. You know what I mean?
The average customer, no offense to all of us that might be average customers, think the average egg is white. Right?
Hold on.
This discussion.
The best food is grown by yourself. I agree, right? But how many people do that? Not many. Most people buy their shit.
Well, I do.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what I mean.
And that's what we're talking about is the market.
Exactly. And most people
go to McDonald's. Most people go to
eggs are brown. They think that they're
Walmart.
So
yeah, or if they can, they go.
They're not going to care. They're not going to care what terpenes are. So yeah, I guess that what we need to allow, what we need to be having is allowing the crafters to have a foot in the industry so they can access the same market as these other, and yeah, those companies can exist with 30% THC without having anything, and they can cater towards that side of the market that wants that, the fanboys of 31%. Whereas, maybe a mom and pop craft, we'll call it Winewood or something like that, would be able to have something on their shelf at 15% because they understand the dynamics and they're able to cater towards a very specific niche customer base that keeps them afloat to be able to provide that on the shelf. That's very similar to why we still grow Granddaddy Purple. It doesn't yield for shit, dude. We have plants that are 6-7 feet tall in our indoor grow room, and Granddaddy Purple is 4 feet tall at best. Same as Citrique. Citrique is 3 feet tall. It's even shorter than Granddaddy Purple. And we grow these plants because it's not just head stash, but it's medicine for a lot of different people.
It's craft, man. It's craft. That's why I was holding these two things up. I'm sitting here thinking, what do these two things have in common, man?
There you go.
They're both craft products.
Yeah.
They're both craft products. It's not,
got one
not the
can
Walmart.
left.
It's not the Bush. It's not the, the Walmart of weed. There are two different categories that are separating and being, I don't know if it's naturally or not, but they're being, pushed right now in this market. Yeah. I think it's a natural separation, but I had a lot of discussions, like I was talking to you guys about, like, from everywhere from Chicago to here. And, I mean, some of the hydro stores are literally calling up their customers being like, hey guys, like, need to buy anything? When's the last time you guys had a hydro store call you to ask you to buy something for your grow? Right. There's a lot of,
why does your hydro store have your number?
because you sign up with that text thing, dude. You sign up with your, like, there's a lot of different.
We got 2 hydro stores here, and neither of them have that.
Let me ask you a
good
question.
old fashioned.
Good old fashioned.
Do you think that there are more growers now in Michigan than there were 5 years ago? Or
Of
do you
course
think there are
not.
less?
Of course not.
No. But
We see the numbers.
Wait, more growers?
There's definitely more cannabis being grown now.
Definitely
But
more
are there
cannabis.
more-
but
are there
not
more
I think there's more home
No.
growers every year.
No, I disagree.
There's less.
That's not what the numbers say. That's not what the official numbers say from the CRA. And then just in the legal market, the numbers are still growing. Plants in the ground.
Well, the quantity is growing, but the amount of people growing is going down, I think.
Does
That's why I said number of plants.
Yeah, I think we're all agreeing.
does it have home grow on there?
Caregivers. They have
You can look up caregiver.
Yeah, but I'm
numbers.
talking
They
home
go down
grow.
every
Your 12 plants. You're right,
There's no
dude.
official data on that.
I think that goes up every year.
Are we
because
talking?
everyone's always learning and finding out. I can do this. I can
Who are
make
we
my own
talking
medicine.
about leaving the cannabis space, though? Is it?
Well,
is
what
it
we're talking about is people that
growers,
have spent
or
a
is it
whole shit ton of money on growing, and now they're going, well, it costs me, I'll pick a number. It costs me $600 a month to fire up my garden to run it the way that it's designed. Or how much do I really smoke a month, and how much is it going to cost me to do that? And the reason that there are so many, go ahead, Spartan.
I was just say there's probably a lot of people that used to grow for more than just themselves that are going down to just themselves.
Right.
Yeah, I see that probably. Yeah,
But there are more plants being grown, but they're not being grown by us, is I guess what my premise is.
maybe not us sitting on this panel, but there's plenty of them that aren't in the legal market that are still being grown. Yes, there absolutely are.
Yeah.
Also, I'd also like to say that I don't know what intentions are the reason that the grow stores are like failing. I know that less people are growing, but is it less growers are growing? People who actually love and care for cannabis are not.
Here it
growing?
is. Here it is. Right here.
People
price
profiting.
price of weed.
Yeah.
All right. Used to be up here.
Yep.
Price of the products to grow weed used to be up here, right?
Yep.
Now the price of weed is down here. The price of products, it's actually up here now.
Yep.
So it's even less profitable
Pretty
to
much,
grow
yeah.
a year or 2 years
Whatever
ago.
you're using, it
Yeah,
costs
I
more
agree,
now than it did 2 years
agree,
ago.
but I also say, here's Amazon. Here's your local fucking hydro store that still tries to fucking get $10 on the extra on the fucking $30 item. So
Nope.
then everyone just goes to Amazon.
Hey,
You get anything on there grow wise. You
I don't know how
get
to
anything
tell
you
this.
want.
I don't know how to tell this to you guys. The successful hydro stores that do still exist and aren't shutting their doors are the same ones that are shipping you that shit on Amazon. It's the same people.
Sure.
Right.
They
What
have
do you mean?
storefronts, Yeah.
Those
I don't
those
get shit shipped
successful,
to me from my store. I go to the store and I buy shit so that I can walk out with it.
but the same successful grow stores that are still expanding and existing, they're also the ones that are shipping out the same products on Amazon and eBay and wherever else you're getting these products online. It's the ones that have diversified are the ones that are successful. The ones that are just sitting there hoping that this continues on for another decade, this boom of cannabis, right? Those aren't going to last much longer. And a lot of them have already shut down because, like we just talked about, the price is still going up for these products and it's becoming unaffordable to grow.
We still got 2 of them in our town.
I think it's just a big business thing. It's just
My point is that the people that are mostly going to bail on their growing is going to be people that are expecting to like profit out of cannabis. Those of us who are still using this as medicine and those of us that are still growing, we're still growing it. I'm not growing any less than I have been growing in the last decade.
growing more.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow more.
But it's a supply and demand issue, though. We're talking about more plants in the ground, along the corridor of eastbound 94 once you get down by like Chesterfield and shit. So around 23 Mile. you start seeing like these industrial areas where typically you would see grows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are all just multiple. I think there's 4 or 5 just on this one road that's in a service drive. And it's funny. One of them is owned by, the state cop dude that fucking got into the business, blah, blah, blah. I've never seen a car at his place, right? But the one down at the end of the road is fucking booming all the time. There's just constantly like one parking spot and, you're waiting in line forever. And people, when they go in there, they're not buying like, hey, let me get a pre-roll. They're buying like a whole bag full of fucking shit. And it sucks because there are so many caregivers out there that could fill that gap if they were allowed to, or if they were able to make connections through like a caregiver fucking group or something like that. And it's like, the market, whatever else, is changing. And so we have to remain flexible with it and, roll with it.
Super, dude. It's been forever change. It's been a roller coaster ride. It's like this weird.
time.
It's like you're on the roller coaster. It's like you're on a Sims roller coaster while it's being built. You know what I mean? Like you've never mapped the tracks. You're right. And nobody has, in fact. And in fact, I think that it's AI that's just kind of creating the sim as you go. It's super bizarre.
It's
I
AI
kinda like
buying all that
your-
cheap
It
weed, right?
really is.
Yeah, I like your analogy better, Red. I used to just call it a yo-yo because I felt like we were just sitting there on this yo-yo and just spinning
No,
it.
I
Like,
like it. I like his
oh,
where
maybe
you're on a
look,
roller
oh, here's
coaster
a
being
cat's
built.
cradle, going back to just throwing it down. You know what I mean? And like, coming back up. It's
You're
a
just
ride.
on this roller coaster. You're there.
You don't know if it'll go up, down, left, right, corkscrew.
There's nobody paying $300 an ounce anymore.
We're strapped in, dude. We are
Not
strapped.
in
in this
Michigan.
motherfucker. That's the thing. The thing is that there's a loop to loop and you can't unbuckle it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing is coming is there's a loop to loop and you can't unbuckle. So you strap the fuck in and you don't know if there's track beyond the loop to loop, but stay strapped the fuck in. That's it.
We can help build it.
Yeah, I guess we're.
I was gonna say, I feel like we have been, we're laying the tracks as we go, and we might not be the software developer behind it, but I feel like we're definitely like clicking those buttons to make it happen.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think there's always going to be an end result for good craft farmers.
There has been
with a passion for the plant.
So there has been for the other aspects of agriculture, right? We're seeing this now because of this new wave of legalization, and we're just kind of in on this. But people food farmers, cattle farmers, people like that, they've been having to do co-ops in gray market workarounds, work the loophole systems around.
Don't buy that gray market
We've been
beef.
doing this shit for the last 100 years, so we just need to take tips. We really need to collaborate. We all need to get together and figure out a system that works for us independent farmers.
Dude, I've been saying this for years, and I get lambasted every time I say it. But it's like we need a caregivers union. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate the word and everything.
Hey,
but,
we could probably do that.
One of the reasons I got into this is because of the documentary
groups
called
out
The
there.
Union. You know what I
Nobody
mean?
supports them. Everybody says these things, but nobody supports them. There's plenty of groups that have sprung up,
Right.
and none of them ever get
If
support.
we all
ever.
got together, tossed 50 or 100 bucks together, get ourselves some.
The Michigan Leasters right now would be probably the group that's the closest to doing it again. They're doing it pretty hard right now. They've come up with a network to try to network caregivers with patients. They've teamed up with a doctor who offers. They've got what is it called? It's like a discount program or something. A membership. You get a membership with the Weedsters, and then you get all these benefits. And
Can we get them on? Is that possible? Somebody
sure we
come on,
could. I'm sure I could get them on.
I
Latrish is
believe
the head
we've
of
had
that.
it on once before,
Yeah.
around the time of all the political stuff.
Okay.
I think Latrice Matson is the one that's spearheading the whole thing, but Stacey Bass, who's been on the show, she's in on the yeah. So I mean, if you're looking for a group like that, I would look at the Michigan Weedsters.
Yeah, they definitely exist already.
Going back to the caregiver thing, I would also say that I personally feel that there are less people that hold a medical card now than say 5 years ago, 2 years
Big
ago,
time.
whatever.
Big time.
Oh yeah, Red. So that puts a crimp on the caregivers being able to, you know what I mean?
We've gone
the
from like
realms of it.
36,000 caregivers to 20,000, I think, in like 3 years or something. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And the patient numbers drop. You know, I'd say for a variety of reasons. You know, the accessibility in a lot of the higher populated areas where those cards existed, you know, Ann Arbor, Detroit, and a lot of those cities have a shit ton of dispensaries now where the prices are really low, and a lot of people don't want to spend that extra cost of going through the bureaucratic whatever, even though it's super easy. I'm not even gonna say it's bureaucratic nonsense because it's super fucking easy. Although there's another population that just doesn't want to support that system anymore because they think that it's more money to the state, and the state's just fucking.
You know what I think of it as, Red? I think of it as like a fucking Sam's Club card. So I got to pay $65 a year to go to Sam's, right? But then that allows me to get gas cheaper. That allows me to get groceries cheaper, and blah, blah, blah. So that cost of that medical card, which is good for 2 years, every time that you do go to a dispensary, if you choose not to grow, you're going to be paying less than people that drop their card for the adult usage, the rec market, because we don't have the same taxation thing. Sometimes we get even different products that are.
Yeah, we had higher dosage at one point too.
Right, exactly. So that, you know, it's a long-term thing, you know.
If that's
I don't know.
if that's supported in the future, because
Right.
more and more of these I don't want to call them dispos because they're not called dispos. What are they? Provisioning centers. More and more of these provisioning centers are dropping their medical licenses just because they're not getting medical patients in there.
And that's where I think we need to figure out some other sources of co-opting, you know, where adults can get together and have adult access co-op gatherings or whatever that we need to figure out. The same way
Social
that,
clubs.
yeah, the same way that food farmers are able to co-opt their services to people throughout, you know, under the without the guise of the FDA and et cetera, et cetera. I think that we can also figure this kind of stuff out through our industry as well. We just have to be mindful of you know, what we're doing, I suppose.
Yeah, it just depends on how hard they try to regulate it, you know.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you know, you have to mind your P's and Q's. You have to, you know, flutter the words of the law. You know what I mean?
Let's be honest, it's not even. I mean, it's not that I want to promote this, but you know, we're all involved in this in one way or another. It's not even the regulation; it's the enforcement of it. If we're really talking specifics, you know what I mean? Because they've regulated a lot of things, and they've regulated some things out of existence, but you know, enforcement is really what kind of like puts a barrier up, I suppose.
Yep.
I would say, for the sake of the show, always follow your laws, and shout out Polarity Science, where we support civil disobedience.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. It's just tough, you know, it's going to be tougher and tougher to have big farmers market style things with the, you know, with them cramping down on stuff. So, you know, it's.
But are they though? I mean,
that's the question.
No, but I think that inevitably it will become that way.
Inevitably, that's who the big business is going to be going after, is everyone that they see. Is
okay, but let's just, you know, I don't know, hypothetical, talk about this for a second, because remember when they put out all those cease and desist letters to all those people, and
no,
you know, in the beginning, like 2000.
I remember when they raided all sorts of unlicensed dispensaries and closed them
down.
Yeah. Stuff and
for sure, but they sent out all these cease and desist letters to people like, you know, the social clubs. I without naming anyone specific, a lot of them are still here. They're still going. You know what I mean? And so it's, again, it's like a level of
they were cease and desist because they had local ordinances written against them, which we lobbied against in city council meetings, and got them to change that ordinance. So that's why those.
This is a state issue. This is a state issue.
What do you mean?
This was at the time the MRA sent out the cease and desist letters. It wasn't like a municipality thing.
To the social clubs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is like 2018. Let me see if I can find the article or something.
2018. I know when you're talking about. Yeah. That got like ended real fast or something. I think it got overturned.
Yeah, I'm sure it was fought against. You know, but that's the thing. We got to stay on top of it when they try to pull shit.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't even
right though. I mean, you know, not to throw red flags on the channel or anything, but like enforcement is where it's at. And honestly, like what is,
well, sometimes you need enforcement so that you can sue them and then get an actual change or actual force to make a decision.
My advice to small farmers is don't open a storefront on Main Street if your ordinance doesn't allow to it. You know what I mean?
Be as respectful as you can of where you are, so you don't run into all that sort of stuff. You know,
that's it. You know, if you can avoid opening a storefront on Main Street and like minding your P's and Q's, generally you should be fine. I'm not offering legal advice to anybody.
I was just saying it's kind of a difficult position to be in, where as a producer you want it to be as visible as possible, but also you don't want it to be visible to certain particular folks.
Word of mouth is a good thing, and word of mouth is a bad thing. Red State.
And part of me thinks that there's loopholes for a reason. It allows free markets to exist so that there can be commerce, free commerce to exist. And I think that when regulators get involved, it's when complaints are made. You know,
well,
for sure.
It's nice we have some rational municipalities where you can do certain things and not be fucking bothered too much.
Exactly.
And even if you don't, you have the power to wait that fucker out to die and somebody else come there.
Yeah,
a lot of these,
that's the key.
honestly, a lot of these people, when you go to these meetings, they're so old.
You know, it is nice that we'll always have a place like, you know, Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor, where you can eat mushrooms on the sidewalk and have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be an oasis
on the diag.
You know,
I've known lots of people in enforcement, and they're very much for free, whatever, until there's a complaint and they're told to go take care of it. You know what I mean? And most people don't want to take care of it, but when, you know, it's whatever it is, public safety is at the forefront of the public perspective, then they have to, you know, crack down, so to speak. I'm doing air quotes right now for the listeners. And then that allows people to feel safe, etc. Kind of what's going on with the Amos Miller case, big farmer who's not FDA certified, and he's being cracked down right now on the FDA over a whole bunch of different shit. Like, the story gets deeper and deeper, so don't get into it. But bottom line is, like, you know, in theory, like, they're using a small farmer as an example to push fear into the, you know, everybody, and also make an example to everybody else that the FDA is doing their job and down on somebody. So
if you don't make an example of somebody, then your job isn't needed, right?
Exactly.
You got to show people that you're necessary.
Right. And to be completely honest, with stuff going out the back doors and into the back doors of shops and stuff coming in and out of state from fucking whatever, cartels still existing, like, there's bigger fish to fry. There is such bigger fish to fry to the MRA, to everybody else. Don't open a dispo on Main Street without a license. That's my advice. You know.
So I'm sharing my screen. If when you, go with the speakeasy route. I like it.
Yeah. 2 knocks, wait, then 4 knocks, then 1.
So it was on beginning in February of 2018 and ending in April of 2018. They sent out 210 cease and desist letters to marijuana businesses throughout Michigan, including dispensaries, social clubs, etc.
Yeah, but did you read the rest of it though? That failed. Look at they failed to turn in their shit on time.
Right. Well, exactly. It was all these people that are operating without submitting a license. So it's the social clubs and the dispensaries, everybody that was there that existed.
Social clubs don't have licenses.
Right.
So why would the MRA or the CRA have anything to do with a social club that did never put in for a license when they never?
Are they still open?
They don't have they don't like sell cannabis at social clubs.
I'm pretty sure most of those places.
But they claim, the CRA claims they can regulate them, so that's why they say they have something to do with them.
Which ones are on that list that are still are they still operating, or?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not many of them.
Like operating without being licensed. I mean,
I know there's a couple, but I don't really want to.
Yeah, I guess don't shut them.
Don't put them on blast like that.
You know what I mean.
Never mind.
You saw that letter that came out, or the Instagram post from the CRA, like a week ago, Spartan, that said, you know, if you're operating a social club or events or anything and you don't have a license, that, you know, basically you're not operating properly, and
which has always been the case.
Right. I'm not sure what you're
Which
concerned about.
is,
They've always claimed they've had the ability to regulate social clubs, etc.
The CRA does not have the ability to. They have to get law enforcement involved if they wanted to enforce any of that shit. It's not the CRA coming in kicking in doors. It's
No, I understand that, but it's their job to enforce the regulations that they
commercial market.
right. And they're
Yes.
claiming that these people are operating within the commercial market, but they're not licensed. So that's why they're claiming jurisdiction, if you will.
My
Yeah,
guess.
that's from
Yeah,
2018.
but that's not what the people who are operating that way are claiming. They're
But
claiming
I
you can
sequence.
trade.
I'm also saying as of a week ago, they're saying this too.
Yeah, and
So remember,
they will, like I was saying earlier, they will still enforce it and keep closing places. That's what I was just talking about.
yeah, that's what I'm
They're
getting.
going to start showing up at farmers markets and saying, "Go home."
Yeah, like they've just started posting these bulletins up about these, whatever. What was I know the most recent one was about social clubs, I think, and then there's another recent one that they were whenever the dispensary owner, well, it wasn't just, I'm sorry, the caregiver business owner, he got busted for whatever stuff, and then everybody kind of had a little bit of a hair snatched up on everybody's back of the neck, thinking that everybody was going to start getting the hammer coming down. When the reality was, like, the information was that it's not that they're trying to go after any like gray market. They're trying to go after that, what you just showed for Growley. I think that they're trying to begin enforcement, I think, is the idea. Like, they're actually beginning.
What you just showed was old. That was 2018 stuff.
But
Well, no. I'm not saying that I'm saying that like pointing to whatever's still going on with the operators that might still be going on. They just didn't.
I disagree.
enforcing any.
Red, did you see? I mean, look, you can look at their enforcement reports that come out on, I think, a monthly basis, and it's all, even after that all came out in the early October scare of them, serving hundreds of search warrants and all this stuff. After that all came out, their enforcement report after that was all commercial businesses that weren't playing by the rules.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying that they're going for. They're going for commercial. They're having nothing to do with the traditional market. It all has
right. So I don't think they're going after farmers markets and stuff. I think they're going after the commercial. Okay, but that's not what I'm saying. Everyone else is saying.
What I'm saying is,
I mean, you just proved my point for Growley by showing a whole list of people that weren't playing by the rules that got shut down.
Yeah.
Well, no, they got sent cease and desist letters. Is all I'm saying.
No, they don't exist anymore. I live next to a bunch of places that got closed that don't exist.
For sure.
Those are all commercial facilities, and those are all commercial facilities with a Main Street address.
So I don't really know what the confusion is there.
I don't either. All I'm saying is there's a couple that still exist, and they're not from what I can tell, they're not enforcing this upon farmers markets. They're forcing it upon commercial facilities.
Let's use 2 out of 100 as an example that, that it's working.
Okay, well then you want me to pull up the enforcement report where it's every single one is a commercial facility that they're enforcing things against? I mean, I don't
That's
really
what the
understand.
CRA is only to enforce licensed facilities. The CRA doesn't.
Right, so they're not going to go after farmers markets.
Farmers markets.
Even though they claim they have the authority to, I haven't seen them actually do that yet. Other than
when did they claim to have the authority to go after unlicensed?
Well, isn't the cease and desist letters a perfect example of that? 210 cease and desist letters to unlicensed facilities.
2018. What are you talking about, man? None of that stuff.
It wasn't unlicensed. Those were licensed facilities.
Yeah, those are people that were they were in the process of being licensed.
They were operating.
They were doing. They had the application. They filled out the application. They got that back, and they were in the process of the first, whatever you call it.
But they didn't complete the process or whatever, right?
Yeah, you had a deadline to reach to get to that, and they didn't get to that, and then they.
And actually, they just loosened that. They tightened the restrictions that I'm tangentially here, but they so used to have to pay for the pre-qualification, which I think was $6,000, and they reduced it to $3,000. And I think at the same time they did that, they also said it expires after 1 year if you don't use it. But now through the what program is it? The equity program or whatever they have going, I think that you can get it extended. The social equity program, I think if you're involved in that, you can actually extend it and it won't expire. And so that was one of the things I was concerned with, like, hey, like, even I want to get pre-qualified, I want to kind of start this process, but if I don't have the funding or $500,000 or whatever, or I don't have real estate in time to actually like pull my license and pay for it, then what? I have to pay for a whole nother pre-qualification and go through it all again, and that was the case. But I guess if you're in the social equity program, that's not anymore, which is nice. So it's like some of those rules that they're kind of loosening up, I feel like are for the little guys like us, but it's so cost prohibitive, man.
Yeah, but then they go and uncap everything and make it now that you can have ungodly amount of plant counts now and have as many stacked C licenses as you want. That's just,
unless you're a micro business.
Yeah. Just a move in a terrible direction.
I like that you mentioned the stacking of licenses there. That's where it really gets people are like, well, it can't really be more than 1,500 plants, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, because you can stack licenses now.
You see some of these outdoor farms that are literally acres and acres and acres and acres of plants.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's just like my dreams, man.
I mean, we got to walk in one, and it is really cool. I will say that to just see that many plants, it's really neat.
Dreams became nightmares, man.
Oh shit!
Oh
my God, you're right.
I always wanted to see like all of one strand. You know how like you're watching some documentary video or something on Vice, and they're showing all this shit growing, and all the plants are just kind of doing their thing and blowing in different directions down the side of a mountain. Like, man, that'd be fucking so cool.
It still exists in the Himalayas in some areas. I've seen pictures of it.
It would be
really, really cool, though.
Yeah, that'd be a fun field trip, guys.
Yeah.
That would be a sticky fucking trip, man.
We need to go down and visit Rasta Bob in Jamaica.
Yeah.
We said for a long weekend, we should all go down there. That would be so cool. Maybe he could show us something like that.
Someone, you guys should get married down there.
We've been invited, guys. That means save up
that's a good
airplane tickets and
she swerved that quick. Yeah, Red.
We'll go right there.
I'm going to try to share my screen real quick on I got this the other day from the Weedsters, but I thought this was
we're getting married as close to home as possible. Right.
Might even be in their house.
Might even just be a few feet away.
If you walk out 15 feet.
Oh yeah, that's where I got mine.
So now they've teamed up with the Weedsters, and for the
$90 renewal, that's nice.
$90 renewal, you get
good for
you get all this. You get two memberships to 2 different social clubs, discounts at events that you might go to that year. I thought that was pretty dope. Just at their website, I guess.
Vehicle City Social.
Yeah, Vehicle City and G3, Genesee.
Nice. I've been to Vehicle City before.
Genesee County.
G3.
Anyways, I thought that was a pretty sweet deal. Share that with everybody.
They're awesome.
They might expire soon. Our memberships might expire. Actually, they might be good until like February.
No, because we met.
You do like most people have live
we
cards
must
the
before
same day.
Christmas.
That's the best.
We went there before Christmas. Our GC3 cards expire. We have to go get new ones.
Yeah, actually, I might be due now too. Now that I think about it, but hey, I'll be in Ann Arbor tomorrow.
Oh boy,
hope to see you guys.
Our card renewed. Maybe we'll hit up the Weedsters and go that route and support them.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that. A couple extra benefits. Why not?
Yeah. Just get those. I mean, that's a saving. That's a $25.
Remember that place?
And you're
that
supporting who
everybody.
you want to support too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my card expires this month.
We have a friend we could call. But
It's not Ray Parker Jr., is it?
No, we have a friend. She's a doctor, and she, helps us out and does the thing.
I think Red is ordained. He can give out weed cards too.
Yeah.
And but I like the idea of supporting as many different types of things as we can.
When you do the ordination, you have to make sure you have a nice long bud. Bless you, my child.
I
You
like
attach
that
it
still,
to the
though.
forehead.
I have some.
So instead of Ash Wednesday, it's fucking Trichome Thursday. What do you think? We'll just put the fucking smudge there.
I never
There we
did
go.
bring them on the show, but before our last big cloud during fall, just before summer harvest, I'm sorry, we took a whole bunch of male cannabis flowers, some sage, rosemary, lavender. I even did some like rose petals, and I bound them up and made smudge sticks out of them. So Scobo, we could smudge the room there.
There you go, man. I like it.
Is that why I was so itchy at your party?
No, that was the flu.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
That was the IPM.
Gotcha.
Oh, it was the Ninja Toads quietly
The
working.
Ninja Toads were working on me.
There's a
Yeah.
working the joint.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do think that the larger players are the focus. You know, the influx of non-tracked, you know, stuff going in and out, whatever the rumors are, you know, any of that stuff. I think that's the big thing. We'll see about that. I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens to social clubs and all that stuff, or farmers markets, or any of that stuff. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, and like you could say social clubs could be regulated under the CRA, assuming they have a license under the CIA. Otherwise, it's just a private. It's a private address that you pay for a membership for. They don't serve food or anything. They don't serve cannabis. You're allowed to bring your own in there and just smoke. That sounds like my house or my backyard.
Several of them serve food, but I don't. There's probably food licenses or whatever with that.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
or it's around that. What's the smoking law? Where if it's X amount of money per, you know, dollars at the door versus dollars at the kitchen, it's you're.
What's with all the math this episode, bro?
It's a 2-drink minimum. 2-drink minimum. Okay.
No
Your
math.
social club example is probably a lot more likely to be long-term successful than like a pop-up event, so to speak.
Yeah,
like a random place. You know, that has a lot of advertising and a lot of. If it's more like, let's meet up at this social club, you know, for this event, I think that's going to be much more successful.
I do too, because there's a private. Well, you know, a lot of these events are also on private property as well.
Right.
And I mean, they're open to public, but at the same time, it's private property, and they can also tell anybody they want to leave or not.
Isn't every dispensary, I mean, provisioning center on a private property too? You know what I mean? Like,
it's on public property because it's city governed. Yeah, you're paying an operator's license to the city and all kinds.
Well, yeah, once you get licensed,
you're inside your building's private property, but like there's other parts like your driveway. Like there's a lot of areas that are like public. There's a lot of things with that's like public, you know.
Right, like a restaurant is a public.
Yeah, yeah. Like while
not really. I mean, you can
refuse service and
right.
things, but like you can't refuse water or something like that. Like there's a hand.
Well, isn't that just discrimination? I mean,
no, I don't know, man. Like there's
there's regulation.
Yeah, it's regulation under, and it's not state regulation. It's not federal regulation. It's township regulation, right? So it depends on who you want to battle, right? You know, you're a public entity to the township, but maybe not to the state. You know what I mean? In order to like be operating, you have to allow patrons in or whatever, or whatever you tell them at the city that you're doing, you have to do it. You know, basically, if you don't follow what you told the city, then you have to. They don't give you your operator's license. You know, and they say, you know, what your capacity is. You know,
good bog room,
300 people or whatever.
That's the fire department, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In order to get your operator's license, you might have to be inspected by the fire department, and then that's where all
fire marshal
public
comes
entities, right? And then you might have to get a $300,000 fucking pressure relief valve on your fire suppression. I'm over exaggerating, but
you can't have a step. You got to have a ramp. You got to have
battery backups,
ADA
and
compliance. Most certainly, public entities ADA compliance. So like. Yeah, it is a private property, but then it's a fine line that says, are you allowed to have the public in or on your private property? Now, if you're a private business and you don't allow the public in, you say, well, they have to pay a membership, and now they're members and they're signing a waiver and all of this other shit that says that they're okay with stubbing their toe, slipping, falling, whatever. Now the city's not liable, and all of this other shit ends up getting waived. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just going based on, you know, ear to the wind type shit. So, take my information as hearsay shit. But for me, this is kind of how it works. The way that I understand that.
It's called red say.
I just wonder, like, at what point does your event at your backyard, for an example,
when you start charging money?
Turn from like having a band at your house to like doing Woodstock at your house. Like, which one is like?
I think when you break once you break permit
Mhm.
capacity, right? So in our township, for example, you're allowed to have up to 70 people on your property without a permit. And then once you hit 70 people, then all of a sudden you need a permit. And now what are they going to ask you?
Such an arbitrary fucking number, bro.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right? What's
Well,
like,
that-
what was like a
probably
half
how
many
acre or
people you
10
can fit in
acres?
your
That-
average
that number-
dating pool.
Yeah, that number's probably to do
America.
with fire code. And then it's probably like, how many facilities do you have? Do you
How
have,
many hot dogs you can put on a Weber grill?
do you have enough
How many people? How many people do you want in your neighbor's yard? How many people are you okay with? your neighbor's
Right.
yard?
Overflow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
what
we have a little bit of overflow because once the bureaucrats get involved, they want to make sure that there's a hand washing station every 50 feet and all of that other kind
But
of stuff.
again, this all is it's regulation versus enforcement, right? Has anyone ever enforced that 70-person rule? Probably only when there was a complaint, like someone else said. You know?
Right.
Exactly. Only when there's a complaint. And you know what? Not even the day of the party.
Does a
when-
blue-haired boomer live
It'll
next
end up
door to
being
you?
next
You're gonna get
township
called out.
meeting that they actually. So your party, your event is going to be fine. The cops might show up because of the complaint. They're going to go, "Hey, this is going on. We have a complaint." You're going to go, "Yeah, this is private property. Please leave." And then they're going to leave, and then
Come back with an ATV and
and then a week
It
later,
sounds like sovereign citizen
a week
advice.
later,
you
a
have.
town-
yeah, cue the shooting of the dogs kind of
They'll
fucking
just
thing.
leave
Back.
and
Don't
nothing
do
will
that shit.
happen.
the township official will show up and tell them that you broke an or tell you broke an ordinance or whatever.
That
and then
Mayor McCheese is going to show up.
you know, but they're not going to deal with it the day of your event. You'll end up dealing with it in the future. Is again, ear to the wind, man. Ear to the wind. I don't know anything.
You sound like
I
you've
don't
been
know
a
what ear to the
sketchy
wind
event
is.
organizer in the past, my
I
friend.
have not. I have
You
not.
need to clip Red saying, "I don't know anything," and put it on a soundboard.
I've just put a lot of
Just
time
keep
to
hitting it all down.
it. I don't know anything.
Do.
Yep.
Sounds like Waco. Well, okay. Well, I mean, you can be nice with telling them to leave your property. You don't have to like get out the heavy artillery.
I mean, if they're on your property, you already screwed up, right?
Yeah, exactly. If they're definitely if they're within your walls.
My advice is if you want to
That
throw a
little
banging ass
driveway, but-
party, please invite your neighbors. And like if you're a smoker, like try to work into this, ease into it. Maybe you can have the garage door open sometime, invite them in for a bowl, make them like you. That way they're less likely to call on you. But if you're outside banging fucking music and people are fucking, wow.
That only works if they smoke, man. If you invite over non-smoker cop callers, then they're going to be equally offended.
So then we need to get donuts.
Start with
Lots
yeah,
and
start with
lots
the
of
pie or
donuts.
donuts.
Yeah, you give them a nice pie
Donut.
or
And then if you feel them out, feel the vibe at the front door, and then maybe ask them to come back.
And you can hit
next
him with
time
that
for-
medicated honey and be
yeah,
like,
different
huzzah.
kind of pie.
you go, "Hey, do you smoke?" And they say, "Smoke what?" You know,
Wedding
you know.
pie.
Come on in. You're
Come
all
on in. That's the test.
That takes us right up to the edge as usual, man. As always, it's fucking good time, man. And
Check us out on the late sesh tomorrow at 11. I have
Yeah,
the
man.
day off of work, so I'll be here for the whole show.
what?
Yeah.
Wow. You heard it here first, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a mini vacay.
I don't know if you're excited or disappointed, but I'll be here for the whole show tomorrow.
Let's
Bro, man, we love having you there, man. Come
He's
through for
gonna
late
play
at 5.
some fun games.
Don't speak for everyone.
Do you have a game for
Right,
Becca?
Becca?
Yeah, see, Becca's our game player. She likes
Something,
it.
man.
Yeah.
What kind of game you guys
Does
play?
the game involve dad?
Tune in tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you too
Shit.
shall find out for
What
girls.
was that game?
Dad time.
Teaser.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I made that up, but
That's the basis
now
of
he
this
has
show.
to.
Can we play a game?
Wait, hit the soundboard for Red. I don't know anything.
I don't really.
Take a dab for me, folks. Cheers.